This isn't red versus blue. This is right versus wrong. This is about public school funding. This is about helping working folks. This is about lowering costs. This is about everyday working folks.
That was Texas State Senator-elect Taylor Rummett, a Democrat who just won a special election in deep red Tarrant County. That's in the Fort Worth suburbs. His 14-point margin of victory is especially stunning since it was in a district that Donald Trump won by 17 points in 2024. Donald Trump tried to distance himself from the race, but he is on record as publicly endorsing the Republican challenger. Take a listen, though.
Somebody ran where?
In Texas, a special election for legislative
the 9th state Senate seat.
I'm not involved in that. That's a local Texas race. You mean I won by 17?
You did.
And this person lost? Things like that happen. I mean, I know there's a race going there, and it's too bad.
Joining me now is the winner of that local Texas race, State Senator-elect Taylor Rummett. He is also an Air Force veteran and a former union president. Welcome. You are the man of the hour. But, well, what is your advice to other Democrats who are running in red districts or swing districts, since you apparently have the touch here?
Well, my advice doesn't just apply to Democrats. Anyone trying to serve and get elected, you got to do the work. You got to go and meet the folks where they're at, have the conversations by first listening and then learning the issues, because that's what a true leader should do.
Well, Republican Governor Ron DeSantis thinks that this is a great strategy. He had this to say about your win. Quote, "A swing of this magnitude is not something that can be dismissed. Republicans should be clear-eyed about the political environment heading into the midterms." Is Governor DeSantis right? Is your election a harbinger of things to come for the Republicans in the midterms, especially if the Democrats take your advice to get on the ground and figure out what the people really want and need?
That's dependent on who's willing to do the work and who's willing to keep working folks at the forefront of their campaign. Really, we have people here, when I was knocking doors and having conversations with voters, there is a need for lowering costs. People are struggling out here. Having 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet, it's not going to work. People are upset, and people are even choosing between their medical treatment and rent and food. And then we also have public schools right here in this great state suffering. The public schools need help, and we got a voucher scam that's being implemented, and it's going to be bad. Anytime public dollars go to private institutions, it's not good.
So all of that is not good. What's also not good in the great state of Texas is the Republican effort at the president's insistence to launch an unorthodox mid-cycle redistricting effort that's aimed at consolidating Republican power in the state, but also in the House of Representatives. Those are structural impediments that are going to make it hard for Texas Democrats going forward. Is your on-the-ground approach something that can overcome even those kinds of structural distortions?
I think only time will tell about that. I think so. What I really think is they should focus on, again, property taxes, lowering the cost of things. That right there is going to be the best thing they could do to actually help folks and win elections, because people out here are struggling.
One person who's not struggling in this season was your opponent, who outspent you, according to Axios, 10-1. What lessons can you offer other Democrats who are facing GOP candidates with substantial financial advantages and deep pockets?
Well, first thing I would say is, yes, I got spent roughly 10-1. I got way outspent. But the trust you can build by doing the work, that is priceless. The trust in the community. And so you can go against any amount of money. Money doesn't replace relationships. It cannot buy elections. This was proof of that.
Is this just like going out and just meeting people, like going door to door? I mean, or did you have longstanding ties as a union organizer that kind of laid the groundwork for you? I mean, can anyone do this, or did you already have a significant advantage because of your prior work?
Well, that's a great question. I would say that one thing I would like to point out is my team was based right here, mostly in the Senate district, if not in Tarrant County. I think who knows the place best than the people who live, work, and try and thrive here. So that to me was a point that I wanted to make sure we talked about, because having that local connection, nothing can replace that. I mean, again, you could spend a lot of money on DC consultants and all this stuff, but of course, also to the other point, like you mentioned, yes, the unions were great partners, and I would say if anyone wants to get elected, focus on the unions, because they have the heartbeat of working folks, and I want to make sure that that's who we represent, because at the end of the day, that's what I swore to serve and advocate for, is working folks right here.